Hi, YouTubers. I just wanted to come on and introduce myself. My name is um, Star Stylist. Um, my real name is Teresa. You will eventually know that because my family's so big. Somebody's gonna come on, or they'll call me Terry. I haven't gone by Terry in over 20 years. You get stuck with those names growing up. But my name's Teresa. Um, I have been watching YouTube videos forever, it seems. I think 2012 is when I joined. And but the last 3 years, with everything going on in the world, I decided to start canning. Let me back up just a little bit. My name is Star Stylist because I'm a hairdresser. I went by the name of the salon that I was working over 20 years ago was Star Salon. So I went with Star Stylist and it stuck, and that's where I am. I owned my own salon. It was called Hello Gorgeous. Um, I had it for about 4 years, and I was working another full-time job at a beauty supply company. Loved it, but then I'd leave there and go to the salon and work there all night and then all day Saturdays, and it took its toll. Do I regret it? Never. I loved my salon. I loved it. I don't regret doing it. Um, I still do hairdressing, but I do it from home now. And it's still Hello Gorgeous. So when I talk to my customers, but anyway, it's more part-time. And I stay in contact with a lot of people, and I love it. But anyway, fast forward. Um, I decided to start. I was so afraid to can. I bought my first canner, I think it was last year, a little over a year ago, and it sat there for about 3 months because I was scared to death of canning. And my mother had a canner, and it wasn't the kind that they have today. That thing could have blown up, put it that way. And so I was always afraid of them. So it sat there and sat there. And I just kept watching YouTube videos. And there's quite a few people I watch, um, and I absolutely love them. Not just for the canning, but some of the things they do. Like, I'm getting into gardening this year. We've had a garden for the last few years, but my son does it. And this year, because I got into canning, I was so excited. I want to do it too. So I have up on my porch where I'm sitting right now, my stuff that I want. I have some broccoli and onions and lettuce. Really? I went to go buy lettuce one day, $5.99, and I use green leaf? I don't think so. Anyway, so I decided I want to do it, and I have some tomatoes. And then he's got the garden down below. I let him do some beds down there, and so I am excited about that. This last year, or last year when we did our tomatoes and everything, I went away for about 3.5 weeks. I went home, and it rained so much here it destroyed all our tomatoes. But anyway, I'm here to really introduce myself and say what I kind of want to come on here and start doing. I want to do canning videos. I might do some videos on hair. Since I quit working, I don't do the makeup anymore. I went through over 15 years of hot flashes. Yes, I'm that old. And it didn't help that I was so heavy. I had put on a lot of weight. I had lost a lot of weight. I'd lost over 50 pounds. In 2019, I was excited, went to my doctor, and got my cholesterol down. She says, I just want you to take your medicine for 6 more months. It's going down, but whatnot. She says, and by the way, you haven't had your mammogram yet. And I'm like, wow, that's right. I forgot. I was 6 months overdue for my mammogram, and I go every year. because when I turned 30, I had a scare. So every year from 30, and I'll be 58 in a few weeks. So I go every year. Well, that year, I don't know what happened. I had it. I thought I had it, but I didn't. So she gave me my thing, and I went for my mammogram. They called me like they do every year, and I was expecting her to say everything's good. We'll see you next year. She said, we found something. You need to come in. I'm like, wow. I mean, it took me a good 30 seconds to a minute to realize that that phone call wasn't you're good to go till next year. Anyway, fast forward a little bit. I went in, they needed to do an ultrasound. So I went in like 2 days later, and I just happened to know one of the girls, one of the nurses there. She was a member of Weight Watchers with me. And her name is also Teresa. And she says, hey, she says, they had just done my ultrasound, and they said I needed a biopsy, and they were going to schedule it for a couple weeks out, whatnot. And she says, listen, the doctor has time right now if you want to do it. Always pays to know somebody. Don't we know that with our government? Anyway, so I did. So I went back in, got undressed, they did my biopsy, and then the following week, I had an appointment with my doctor, with the cancer doctor, and he and his PA came in, and my husband was with me, and he said, you do have cancer. My poor husband just started bawling. And he's in a wheelchair, so he was sitting there in his wheelchair, and the doctor just looked like, wait a minute, I just told her, not you. I'm like, it's all right, Maurice, it's all right. And it was. God gave me a peace about having breast cancer. From that moment on, I never stressed it. And people would say, what is wrong with you? I mean, you're so calm about the whole thing. I'm like, listen, there is not one person alive that's getting out alive. We are all going to die from something. And if that's what God said I'm going to die from, well, I'll do the best I can while I can. But I didn't stress whatsoever about any of it. And so because the kind I had triple negative breast cancer, I had to have chemo and radiation. And it was rough that year. And on top of that, my husband ended up, after my first chemo treatment, him and my son both came to it. And it took a lot out of me. I could barely get out of bed with the medicines they put in me. I was still fine. I mean, I was okay. And it was only for a couple days. But my husband started falling really bad. He has muscular dystrophy, and I said, Maurice, I can't take care of you and me at the same time. You need to go to the hospital. And so fast forward there, he did, and he ended up in the hospital for 3.5 months between the hospital and rehab. And so it was a blessing. I mean, it was hard because he was there and I was home, and I was blessed that my son lived here with me, because he took me to every chemo treatment. And I think I had 8 of them, and I took 1 week off. It was every 2 weeks. By the time I started feeling really good, I had to have another one. But it worked out. I mean, it worked out that somebody was taking care of my husband in the hospital, and he needed it, and I was able to be home and just not do anything because there was not much I could do. But I didn't have to worry about taking care of my husband. And I'm just giving you a little back story of who I am and who we are. I'll get more into that. I got through it all. um, after my first chemo, my hair just started coming out in chunks. I mean, literally, if I just pulled my hair a little bit, I'd probably get 50 strands. I have a video on my Facebook page about it. It was crazy. So I asked my son to shave my head. So I said, I want you to shave a mohawk into my head. And he's like, all right. My son's 36, by the way. So he did. And we just laughed. It was hilarious. And I was telling my doctor about it. And he says, that's so cool. He says, how long did you walk around with a mohawk? I said, about 5 minutes. I said, just long enough to do the video, take a couple pictures of it spiked up, and get it off. I said, I wasn't letting cancer take my hair. Because I didn't want just spots all over my head where my hair was falling out. If I'm going to be bald, it's going to be the whole thing or nothing. And it was nothing, because right after that, he shaved it bald. And I think the worst part about that, how you men deal with it, is beyond me, is when it starts coming back. All those little tiny hairs, oh, they were annoying. I thought shaving your legs was bad. Anyway, so yeah, that was fun. I never realized how many people go through this, because no matter where I went, and of course it was cold after all my hair was off, it was coming into winter, so I would wear a hat. I've always hated hats, but I never went out without one. And then I had scarves around my neck, and like I said, I had really bad hot flashes. But it was so cold. When you don't have hair, even the little amount I have right now, that hangs on my neck, just the air goes right down the back of your shirt. But anyway, it came back. My hair all came back gray. Yeah, I knew I was gray, but I didn't realize I was that gray. I'm on my coffee break. Anyway, I got through all that. My husband came home in, I think it was November, and I was going through radiation then. That was a daily thing, and I had to go for 30 days, I think it was. But anyway, that whole year that the year that I was told, 2019, I had, like I said, I had lost that 50 some pounds, and I felt really good. Well, through cancer and all that, I'm sure I went through a little bit of depression, I guess. If, some people, when they get depressed, they just eat. Well, I went there, and I gained all my weight and then some back. So I was pretty heavy. And last year, I decided I couldn't do it anymore. So I changed everything. And this year, that's probably a year and a couple months, I'm down 115 pounds. I feel wonderful. I'm very healthy. I don't have to take cholesterol medicine anymore. I take vitamins, and I take vitamin D once a week, 50,000 milligrams, because everybody's shy on that. So if you're tired all the time, go check your vitamin D. But anyway, that's me in a nutshell. I think this video is kind of long. It's 14 minutes. Sorry, I can't see without my glasses. Read anyway. I just wanted to say hi and introduce myself. Chances are I'm not going to be sitting next time you see me. I'll just do all kinds of videos. I don't know what yet, but I used to do them on Spark People. It was another site I was on for weight loss, and I loved it. And I was the team leader in there, and we'd just have a ball, and everybody would be so mad when I went and do videos, because that's the way you get to know each other. So, and when we'd talk in rooms, and we'd just have a ball. So I said, you know what? I'm not working full time anymore. I'm home a lot of the time, and most of it is canning or cooking new meals, and what you find on YouTube is amazing, and I thank every one of you. And I'm sure I'm going to start naming places that I go, and I even get my news from YouTube. That one I will say, Pinball, he's my only news source. Every now and then I'll turn on the TV and my husband's like, why are you watching that? I said, I'm not. I'm using it for a light because usually it's muted. But thanks, Pinball. Anyway, I'm going to go, and I look forward to maybe meeting or chatting with a whole bunch of you. So you have a great day. Enjoy the weather if you have it nice like we do. It's like 60 degrees out here today after it's been near freezing. So anyway, that's me, and I look forward to meeting you guys. Have a great day.